The big story that I've been tracking, at least a lot of people have been tracking, has been this Ox or OX, 0x. I can't tell if it's 0x or Ox. I think it's Ox. But it's this stealth model that was released on OpenCode, on News Research. Okay, first of all, the first one that I saw to host it was OpenCode, where they announced it, look, 1:59 p.m. on August 20th. Then the next one that I saw to announce it was OpenRouter, which was, okay, wait, 1:59, 2 p.m. Okay, not that much later, but I saw it later. And actually, I think what was happening is, like, for a while, they were hosting, OpenRouter was just routing to OpenCode. I'm not sure about that, but it seemed like that was what was going on. But now, let's see what's at now. No? Okay. I don't know who's hosting it. But anyway, yeah, there's this. Oh, wait, and then the third one, which is News Research. And by the way, there seems to be this escalation of, they say, first OpenCode said, we have capacity for 100 trillion tokens per day, which seems insane. That seems like a lot of tokens for this type of a model. Well, it depends. Like, is this model good, right? Like, if it's a tiny model, you can have a tiny model that has a million context window. But 100 trillion tokens a day is a lot of tokens to be able to have. So I think that just, like, first of all, surprised people. But then, I guess OpenRouter didn't say anything about the amount of tokens they have. But then News Research, they say, we have capacity for 1 quadrillion tokens per day. Let the tokens flow. So what the heck? What is this model? What is this stealth model, Ox Alpha? And is it good? Is it good, right? And so people are trying to figure out, because nobody knows who's hosting, who created it, and then who is hosting it. Who has the capability of creating a model that would capture people's attention, and then who has the capacity to be able to run it like this. But also, they're not, according to OpenCode, 0 data retention, which seems like if you're doing a stealth model release like this, you would think you would want to have data retention so you could, like, fix any of the issues that crop up with it, or training, or, you know, like, check for malicious use, or how often it could be jailbroken. Or the thing is, it's weird that they would offer this free. By the way, free. So whoever is hosting this is doing it at some significant loss, and they're not keeping data, so it's not like they're going to get some ancillary benefits from this. And yeah, 100 trillion tokens a day, or a quadrillion tokens a day. Like, what the heck is this model, right? But the point is that if it's bad, then who cares? But wait, what is this speculation thing I thought of? Okay, so this is where people are starting to, like, all this stuff that I was just talking about, where it's like, what is this model? What is this Ox Alpha model? And there are a lot of different speculations about it. Like, somebody said, first of all, people are trying it out and seeing how good it is. And this was one of the one-shot demos that someone did. Somebody was saying it's probably a new Kimi model. This is not a popular sentiment. What are they saying? A new Kimi model, likely K3.1. But this tells you the level at which people are kind of, like, finding this model to be. If people, I mean, Kimi K3 is quite a good model. So if people are kind of trying it and thinking it feels like a K3.1, but this seems to be, oh wait, this is different. They're saying this is on Code Arena. But yeah, this seems to be the biggest sentiment right now, is that it's probably a GLM 5.3 based thing, whether it's 5.3V with vision support, or 5.3 Flash or something. But if you look at the benchmarks, if you look at some of the benchmarks as people have tested, like, it beats Fable, it beats GPT Soul. So it's very hard to square that with the idea that how could this be a 5.3 Flash model if it's beating Fable? And Yeah. So the question is, and like, so people are like, is it Mistral? Is it a 5? This is the other thing people are saying. Is it a 5.2 post train? GLM 5.2 launched reasonably a while ago now at this point. Like GLM 5.2 has been out for like a couple months. And so there's a possibility that a third party took the GLM 5.2 base, further trained it, and then whatever this model is a result of that. So that's also possible. There's also been a lot of people claiming that it might be Gemini, um, because the Gemini folks have been like vague posting. Let me see if I can like. Let's see here. I don't have good examples, but like people were vague posting about. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is like this is a selection of people from Google who are saying like, what if the Ox Alpha was the friends we made along the way? And just saying Gemini and saying it's Gemini time. Google is back. Trust the process. So it probably isn't Gemini. It probably isn't Google. It probably is just that they're excited about some model they've got coming out as well. But it just so happens to be, aligned with what's going on right now with this Ox stuff. So anyway, I've been playing around with it. Let's go to Pi. And right now I have, so first of all, let's just say like, this is my Quen 3.8. So this will be a comparison, sorry. Let's see if I can scoot it up. Yeah, so this will be a comparison of Quen 3.8 27B. And let's just do it in another C development. And in this one, I will do Ox Alpha from the news portal. So what is this repo? Please don't just read the documentation, but also read the code. Give me a one-page document that you call document1.md. If you see document2.md, do not read it. And then that's it. And then over here, I'm going to say the exact same thing. Wait, I want to do it exactly the same. So I'm going to say, okay, if you see document 1, do not read it. So this one's going to be going from Quen 3.827b. I'm going to create a document, and we'll see what it does. And then this one's going to be using the new Ox Alpha. Oh, wait. Crap. So I'm on low. Do I want to keep it on low? No, let's put it on like the highest. Let me move to high for Ox Alpha. And, oh, crap. X high. And then on this one, Ox Alpha, it looks like it only goes up to high. So we've got X high. We're going to do the highest thinking on settings on both. What is this document? Or what is this repo? Stored in document 1, stored in document 2 for Ox Alpha, and stored in document 1 for Quen 3.827b. And so we'll just see. This is Quen 3.827b on my other computer. Let's just like make sure. I'll just confirm that we are inferencing. This is us inferencing on my desktop. So I'm proving it. And then here, now we've got document 1. Document 1, remember, is our Quen line. And document 2 is our, oh, interesting. It's a lot shorter. Quen output 81 lines, and this new Ox Alpha output 59 lines. So now let's do I'm going to use codecs. I'm going to use, I want to X high. I'm going to say read document 1 and document 2 and tell me and compare and contrast them and tell me which one is better, more accurate, more complete, etc. And then I'm also going to do this again, but I'm going to swap the order. And I'm going to say read document 2 and document 1. Because ordering can matter. It can really matter a lot in these like classification things. And so we're just going to see if it comes to a general consensus. I mean, I can read with my eyes too. Let's like do a little bit of that. Imagine that, right? Okay. Mini open-end. What this repository, this is Quen. One line, a complete reimplementation of Hugging Face's open-end protocol in dependency-free C99 derived from captured wire bytes of the Python reference rather than from its documentation. Verified byte exact, corpus replay, and by Hugging Face's own client and validator. Okay, what the protocol is, blah, blah, blah. Like this is actually talking about the protocol itself. And then this is talking about architecture, 4 layers, separated by CMake check. Okay, wire, the protocol, the server client, and then like the include, the authoring API. Right? Writing an environment is small in both senses. And Echo C is a complete conforming server. 2 field tables, which are the schema, 1 state struct, 3 callbacks. What ships besides the library? Examples, arcade, interop, tests, and reference. The point of the repository. The project's stated answer to a real confusion, built on the protocol versus built into it. Every public declaration is tagged wire SDK policy, make docs, blah, blah, blah. So this is true, although this is a little bit obtuse way of saying it. Okay, so now let's read the Ox Alpha one. This is a little bit less, this is kind of informal. What the repository is, kind of like a little bit cutesy. But this here, Ox Alpha says, Mini OpenEnv is a dependency-free C99 reimplementation of the OpenEnv protocol. Hugging Face's standard for serving reinforcement learning environments as services. Reset, step, observation, reward. That's kind of nice. I like that it gives that like 3-step thing. The Python reference implementation is 750 files, so it gives us a general sense of the size. This repo isolates the protocol buried inside of it, which is a fork. This is kind of a little bit better of an explanation. How the code is organized and why. The tree enforces a layering discipline. Make check. Wire, proto. Yeah, because I was wondering, it said there's 4, what was it that it said here? 4 layers. But then like in here, there's server client. Over here, it doesn't try and say that there's 4 layers, but it says there's a wire, there's a protocol, there's a server, there's this include. This is pretty similar. But then this also includes the example environments, the arcade, the examples, and then all the other stuff. Okay, that's like relatively similar. Key design ideas, byte fidelity over elegance. Hey, come on now. I cared about elegance. The goal is reproducing observed behavior exactly, including protocol oddities. Yes, that's true. That's true. That's what they're trying to say, is that like we re-implemented all the warts. We wanted to match exactly. Enforce separation of protocol from framework. C as an anti-paraphrase device. Yeah, did this say anything about C and why? I don't know. Radical minimalism. Yeah, C99, no dependencies, 1 file portability. Yeah, that's true. Documented under specification. In short, it's simultaneously a faithful embeddable OpenEnv stack in C, a debugging interoperability toolkit for any OpenEnv deployment, and a teaching artifact. Honestly, this was shorter. It was a little bit less in depth, but I think I like the things that Ox Alpha said better than the things that, like this was a little bit more in depth, the Quen 3.827b, but it's a little bit less human oriented. Like as a human reading this, I actually have a better experience because I feel like it put things better in context. Like this, for example, like this little quick little indicator about what this is. It's like going from reset to step to observation. Like that's pretty good. Okay, let's take a look and see what Sol thought about this. Okay, this says document 2 is the better document as written, clearer, more concise, and less error prone. Document MD1 is substantially more complete and technically informative, but it contains several incorrect, stale, or insufficiently qualified claims. It would be the stronger document after revision. Oh, that's an interesting observation. Okay, accuracy, document 2, fewer incorrect. What are the incorrect specifics? Let's see. Reference vendor copies is false as a repository claim. The directory happens to contain ignored checkouts locally, but no files under it are tracked. Yeah, that's true. I did. I told it to git ignore a directory, and then I said checkout open end there, like actually Hugging Face's open end. So this got that wrong. That's true. It saw the directory, but it didn't see the context around it. That's crazy too that it did it in so many fewer. Like this took a lot more calls and tool calls to get there. So that's kind of interesting. Wait, okay, what else? Completeness, document 1. That is pretty evident. Readability, document 2. That's what I said too. I'm glad I judged this before I read its judgment. Technical usefulness, document 1. Yeah, okay, because it's just more complete. It captures important wire level behavior. What is the wire level behavior that this captured? The envelope. Does this talk about the envelope at all? No, it doesn't give any specifications. So that's different. Okay, so this was the first one. Overall, as is document 2, safer and more effective introduction. And then recommendation, use document 2 as the foundation, then import the strongest corrected material from document 1. Okay, now let's see what it did when we had it look in the opposite order. I started it looking at document 2 first and then document 1. And this says, verdict. Use document 2 as the base. More accurate is written document 2, more technically complete document 1, clearer and better organized document 2, best for implementers document 1. Yeah, because it has the actual envelope. That's more useful for an actual implementer, I suppose. Clearer and better organized document 2, best general repository introduction document 2. Okay, so very quick test. Like this was not a good test, right? It's just a nothing thing, right? But like actually it's not, because being able to efficiently and correctly assess the context of a coding environment from nothing is actually a really important skill, and like what to look for, what to bring into context. Okay, I want to, while this is going, I want to give a conspiracy theory about. So everybody basically thinks right now that this is GLM 5.3V or 5.3 Flash or something like that. Let's just go to like the GLM Hugging Face. A lot of people seem to think, wait, GLM 5? It's interesting that GLM 5 got updated, right? Why did GLM 5 get updated recently? Let's see. Oh, they added community evaluation results for SweBench. Okay, so multilingual SweBench got 73.3 from the community. So, but check this out. There is precedent for a GLM a GLM-V model with the vision capabilities in there, because GLM 5.2 doesn't have vision, but this model here this Ox Alpha model does have vision. So clearly, it's not GLM 5.2 itself. It could be GLM 5.3, but it's probably a GLM 5.3V or GLM 5.3 Flash or something like that. That's what most people seem to think right now. But I actually think that there's a chance that it could be another model company, which is, here, let's see if I can find Meituan. I don't know how to say Meituan, but I think there's a possibility that it could be it could be Meituan LongCat, because they are no slouches at post training. They have had their own models that have been quite good and have done very well at coding and agentic things, as well as also know how to do. They put a lot of effort into doing things they call omni models, which is similar to what Google calls omni models, which is like being able to take in video, images, I think audio, and text, any of those modalities, and reason about it and output text only for now. And I don't think that Ox Alpha is a continuation of any of Meituan's existing LongCat models, but I think it is possible that Meituan took a GLM 5.2 or an early checkpoint of 5.3 if they're coordinating with ZAI, and I think I think there's a possibility that, oh wait, I can expand this out. I don't know why I kept it so, anyway. I think there is a possibility that they took their post-training that they provenly did on LongCat, and it provably created quite good models, and they apply it to GLM 5.2. I think it's possible. I was going to ChatGPT with this one. I was saying everyone is speculating as to who might be responsible. Wait, also I went to Claude. I was using Claude as well. And it was basically like, no, it doesn't think so. Everyone is speculating as to who might be responsible for the stealth Ox Alpha model that appeared on news portal, OpenRouter, and OpenCode recently. Many people are speculating GLM. I did see one hint that it might be LongCat. There was a very vague hint from one employee of news research that was saying, like, I think it was, here, let me find the tweet. I think it was news research. Here, let's see. Was it their account themselves? Let me find. This was literally it. Someone said, haven't been rate limited on this one yet. It's really good. Who is behind this and how did they get all the GPUs? And they said, don't worry about it, kitten. Enjoy the unlimited intelligence. And then somebody else picked up on that too. They said, kitten, is it a LongCat model? And that's what like sent me down this whole rabbit hole of thinking about that, where it's like, it's probably nothing. It's really probably not that. But that's what sent me down the rabbit hole of looking into it. And so what did this say? This said basically like, no. My best interpretation is it's probably a GLM 5.3. But then what I said is, couldn't Meituan have started with a GLM 5.2 base because it's been out for a while and performed their proven excellent developer-focused post-training on it? And then they were like, okay, actually, wait a minute, I can see that. And then ultimately it said, okay, the thing that the most convincingly says no is the visual encoder matches exactly to the GLM 5.3, which hasn't been open sourced yet. So the only company that had access to the visual model or the visual part of GLM is ZAI themselves. But I don't think it's totally out of the question that they're sharing, that they're sharing information and checkpoints. But also people have really dug in, and it seems to be that it's ZAI. It seems to be ZAI. LongCat is, wait, okay, this is what I was going to say. My updated separation, is it a GLM backbone? Like, it's 90 to 95% guaranteed to start from being a GLM model. That's what this speculation says. But they say, is it actually from ZAI, 50 to 60%? Or is it a LongCat trained hybrid or some sort of different thing from a post-train, 25 to 35%? So that's pretty interesting. And then a lot of people are also saying it could be Cursor, or it could be basically XAI, because they have all those GPUs, and they could have started with a GLM base as well. There's no reason they've done it before, right? They did it with K2.5, I believe, for Cursor for cursor 2. But then somebody else said on Twitter, and I don't even know if they know anything. This is all just fun. But they said, let me give you a hint. The second zodiac animal. In the mythology of the great race, the generous ox agreed to carry the rat across the final river. Just before reaching the Jade Emperor, the rat jumped ahead, making the ox second in the Chinese zodiac. It represents stability, patience, and methodical determination. I don't even know if this has anything to do with anything, but then this was saying like, oh, that clue is actually just wordplay, and zodiac animal in is ZAI, and then the second ZAI, like the second ZAI. I don't know. Wait, let's look at the SZAIGRORJJE. No. I think it's like reading too much into this. There may be another deliberately planted acrostic a few words later. The generous ox agreed to. That spells goat. I don't think so. It's like seeing mirages at this point. Oh, wait a minute. The alternative LongCat interpretation. There is still a clever Meituan reading. In a common extended version of the Great Race, both the cat and the rat ride on the ox. The rat pushes the cat into the river. The cat therefore pushes the cat into the, the rat pushes the cat into the river. The cat therefore fails to enter the Chinese zodiac. That makes the missing cat potentially significant. A hint about LongCat would deliberately recount the ox and rat story while conspicuously leaving the cat unstated. Yeah. And then I did the same thing here. It said, first of all, it did the same thing where it was like, no, nuh-uh, I don't think so. LongCat causal LLM is totally different. LongCat's different. And then when I said the same thing, yeah, but couldn't have they started with a 5.2? And they said, and then Claude said, oh, you've put your finger on a real weakness in my argument. Let me check the load-bearing claim. Such a Claudeism. This is like, I can't stand Claude's phraseology. And I find myself saying him, too. Like, it's so catchy. Meituan's multimodal work is omni, audio plus video. And Ox Alpha exposes no audio endpoint at all. And the entire LongCat 2.0 pitch was a trillion parameter model trained on 50,000 Huawei Atlas chips with zero NVIDIA in the loop. Actually, that could make some sense, though. If it's a Chinese model, what I was saying at the top of this segment was that, like, why are they doing this? Why would they do zero data retention and 100 trillion tokens a day and make it free? Like, why would they do that? But what might make sense is that they're testing out the inference capability of their fleet of different kinds of chips. Like, that's an interesting thing. That would, like, make some amount of sense as to why they're doing this. They're seeing if, like, their inference could hold up. I don't think that's probably it, but it's like interesting. Unfortunately, this is kind of indicative of the experience I've had so far, where it's like, it's great, it's a high quality model, but the inference experience with it has not been good, no matter which provider I go with. There's been a lot of just like, especially I noticed it getting the worst when my model had gone into, my laptop is really struggling. My model went into a couple of these loops where it's like it tried to render a bunch of things and then read the renders and then act on those renders. And after like 4 or 5 images made it into the context window, like I almost couldn't get it to continue. Like it kept crashing, or it was giving 503s for a lot of times. And then after a while, the inference providers pushed a fix where it wasn't 503 anymore. But then it was like giving, I was only like 4 or 5% of the way into my context window, and it would say like I've exceeded the context window. So maybe that's what's happening here too. But yeah, in general, I haven't had a great experience with the inference side of this. However, there's people online who have been saying let's see. What is it? Ox Alpha Spark. Someone was saying that they have confirmation from the open or Ox Alpha will be open source and can run on 2 Sparks. That's what I've been seeing around. I don't know who originated that, but this is the rumor I've been seeing around, is that it can run on 2 Sparks. I think like this all has given me a lot to think about. I think my takeaway is that the inference for Ox Alpha is not good enough yet. You can't rely on it. Whoever their inference provider is not doing a good enough job, because as soon as you get past some certain point, you just hit all these errors, and rather than compact and rather than just like being slow, it fails or it causes issues, and it's hard for it to get out of it, and you have to wait some time or manually push it forward or do something like that. I think what I have also noticed is that Ox Alpha is more succinct. It's more token efficient. It seems to do more with fewer tokens and use those tokens more effectively. Whereas Quen, it does lots of tool calls. It does lots of thinking between tool calls. It's just a token furnace, but I think it's a relatively reliable token furnace. It gets you to the endpoint, and it might not be like the biggest frills. It might not have the most bells and whistles, but it's a pretty good workhorse model. Whereas this one, I feel like it's a little bit more questionable whether it's going to get there. But a lot of that is, again, inference. I don't know. It's hard to separate the inference from the performance of the model itself. Sometimes it's like, 1 and 2, 1 and it's like the same thing. I think Ox Alpha is an incredibly exciting model. I think all the speculation about who hosts it and who developed it and who hosts it, I think it's been fun and fascinating. I think I've had good but not great results with it in my own personal testing, and then also like this live testing. I am so curious about what it's going to be like when it releases for real, when we figure out who's behind it, and if it does turn out to be an open model, what's the difference going to be like when we can host it ourselves and we're not competing with everybody else trying it out at the same time? I'm so curious to try it. I'm so curious to learn more. It's been such a fun thing. Like this, I think a big part of it is just like the fun of speculating and the fun of this all. Of, hey, there's this new model and we all get access to it for free, and it's beating Fable on a bunch of tests. Like, what the heck? But now it's down to reality. Now it's trying to use it. Now it's trying to actually get work done and seeing how good it is. And it is good, but it's maybe not as good as some of the initial tests made us think. And the real thing will be once we get it in our hands, and if it does become an open source model, what can we do with it? What can the open source community do with it? And what can we do with it locally? Yeah, so really exciting. Fun. This has been a fun one this week. I'm glad that we've got this going on. And I don't know. I hope they're really serious about zero data rate, because that's the one thing that makes me nervous. Like, all of this has been great fun, except for the question about who's inferencing it and what's their motivation. If their motivation is to tell everybody that it's zero data rate and then secretly keep it all and train it on it, or they're doing like the other thing I was thinking about is zeroth order optimization. That like there are techniques where just from serving a model, you can glean slight amounts of information about the model such that you can train from that. Just from doing inference, you can collect all of that inference, or not collect it, but like you can I actually don't know how it works. I don't know how this all works, but I think there are techniques where you can improve your model and affect the weights just by running a bunch of inference. And so I was wondering if maybe it was something like that, some continual learning thing. You know what I said earlier, my dark horse is that I think it could be LongCat. I think it could be LongCat. I have no idea for sure. It's just like 30% chance. I think 60% chance it's probably just GLM-53V or GLM-53 Flash or something like that. But I think there's a small chance that it's, I don't know how to say this, Meituan, I don't know. But I think there's a small chance because they have really good agentic coding post-training. They know and they have the training ability. They know how and they have the compute to do the training runs that are needed for it. And they have like, I guess like enough, and like it's a Chinese model company. So I think there's a non-zero chance that like they got an early checkpoint from GLM-53V or something like that, and they did their post training on that. That's my like conspiracy. I think it's definitely a GLM base. It's definitely got to be a GLM base. But it's like, who did the post training? Was it ZAI that did the post training? Was it somebody else? Was it Cursor? I don't think so. But yeah. Okay, what I will say though is that even though they say that they can do, wait, where was it? Even though they say they can do 100 trillion tokens a day, and then news research said, I don't even know if this is a joke or not. I don't know if it's a joke or not. I think it's a joke. But like in my experience, when I'm actually trying to inference through them, they can't seem to support, like maybe they have like the legal runway to do that many tokens, but they don't seem to have the inference speed to, in 1 week, generate that many tokens, if that makes sense. I keep running into like, it seems really tough to get it to complete like an agentic turn. I had to keep pushing it, and it kept running into, especially if I did a loop where it would like generate an image, read the image, and then try and modify the code based on the image that it read. After it got to like 4 images, it like cannot complete. It can't, it's like the tokenizer, I don't know if it's some weird thing about the tokenizer or how the image patches are being sent into the LLM or what, or and also I had ones where it wasn't even using images, where it just got to a certain point where it didn't seem to be able to get past that. It kept 503ing or 504ing or running into weird errors. So I think like great that you have the idea to generate 100 trillion tokens in a week, but I don't know if they have the throughput to do it. That's good. I'm glad you got a lot done. I have had pretty good success with it. But I will say that when I put it in a heads up comparison between some of those other models, it didn't do as well as I thought it might. I would say my vibe experience with it is better than my like structured testing experience with it, if that makes sense. Like it feels better, but it didn't produce all that great of stuff in the end. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm really excited about it though. I just hope that it's true what they say is that it can run on consumer hardware and it's going to be open source. That would be incredible. I would love that. I'm glad you're having good luck with it though.